better communications and so on, that children began to be treated better. There was no bucolic and wonderful age of childhood before the Industrial Revolution. The children were alive. That's why they looked hungry. They were alive and hungry, not dead and in the ground. But that, of course, is hard for people with the abstract abilities of soap dishes to comprehend and process. But it doesn't matter. We'll move forward without you. So I would argue that the Western European cultures really were the first to develop empathy in any societal functional way. And this empathy was gruesome in its implementation. It was exhausting. It was debilitating. It was social upheavals, revolutions, wars. But this growth of empathy was the most foundational resource that the world required to climb out of the medieval fucking hellhole that it had inhabited for approximately, give or take a couple of Thursdays, the past 150,000 years of human history. So there's a growth of empathy. And now, so a space alien would say, holy shit, these guys did philosophy, these guys did free market capitalism, these guys ended slavery, these guys developed the scientific method. Wow. People must think they're really great. And I would say to that space alien, I'm sorry, you're actually very wrong about that. You are extremely incorrect about that. In fact, there is no more reviled and hated group in the known universe of mankind than white Western Europeans. It is naturally naturally how it's going to work. Because the first person to develop empathy in a sociopathic world is kind of screwed, right? Because the sociopaths are like, oh, shit, that guy's got empathy? Ooh, yeah. They got a big, giant empathy button. Let me harden my diamond-tipped sociopathic nipples and drill right through that fucker's heart and mine out all the good economic, religious, sociopolitical juiciness that lies inside that is now open to mine for the taking because the man can be manipulated because he's got empathy, right? Empathy in a sociopathic world is giant target on the head exploitation. It's extremely dangerous. And it is one of the great failures of early empathy to recognize how dangerous being empathetic is in the world. Because predators will prey on empathy all the time. I mean, you know how it works, right? Some guy jumps you in the alley, puts a gun to your ribs and says, your money or your life. And what do you say? You say, hey, man, first of all, don't quote Adam Ant songs to me. Second of all, I am Jiu-Jitsu master. And then, giant reptile tentacles come out of your back and knock the gun away, take the gun away. And what does the guy do? The guy says, oh, man, I'm so sorry. I had a really bad childhood. Don't hurt me. Don't call the cops. I'm so sad. I got kids at home. I had a terrible time. Right? He's just going to stop milking that shit. Is it because he suddenly developed empathy? No. All that happened is he lost the gun. So he's switching to empathy, right? And so if you have immature empathy, then you'll be like, oh, this poor guy, I guess he did have it tough. I guess I won't call the cops, right? And so to develop empathy, we think, those of us with empathy, we think, well, empathy is really good. Everybody says they like empathy, so I'm sure I'll be praised for doing empathetic things. And that's not true. You will be exploited for doing empathetic things. So Europeans freed the slaves. They were the first society in the history of the world to end slavery. And they didn't just end it in their own society. They made it a worldwide mission to end slavery, right? And how many people say, fuck, we should really have a Yay Europeans Day. Thank you, you pasty bastards, for ending slavery, one of the greatest curses the world has ever known. You guys are fantastic. Wow. I mean, none of you living guys, but man, your ancestors were really fucking cool. Ended slavery the whole world over. Damn, what an incredible moral accomplishment. You should be praised, or at least we should praise those historical people. But that's not what happens, is it? What happens is people all the world over say, man, fucking European suckers. Oh, man, suckers. You guys really showed your hand, didn't you? You showed that you care about people, you stupid bastards. Don't you know that's just like catnip to our entire ring of lions that we are now going to send charging at you and your children. Oh, you guys are capable of guilt. Oh, you guys are capable of remorse. You guys feel bad about slavery, so bad you ended it? Well, now we're going to stick the fork in you pasty white sides, and we're going to keep turning it until you cough up more money than God has in his Swiss bank account, right? And that's what happens when you develop empathy and do good in a world of sociopaths.
Well, how did the empathetic convince the sociopaths to become empathetic?
You can't convince sociopaths to become empathetic. I mean, it's like telling someone, yelling at someone, or giving someone a back rub until their severed arms regrow. As far as I understand it, again, I'm no expert, but from what I've read, and I've read fairly extensively in it, sociopathy is a particular brain configuration that results from trauma, and there's some genetic element, but the real trigger seems to be early childhood trauma. And there's no fix for it later. People don't understand the degree to which human beings are a predatory species on human beings. We're not all the same. God damn it, I wish I could get this across to people. We are not all the same. You know, there are lambs, and there are gazelle, and there are tigers. And we all kind of look the same, and there's this bullshit from religion that we all have souls, and we're all good deep down, and you can find that goodness deep down in someone. You reach down their throat, you spread their hands, you double fist their spine until you reach that goodness right down there in the heart of them, and oh boy, it's going to be so tasty, we just have to go mining. There's gold down in the bottom of that Cracker Jack box, right? And I mean, it shows up in weird things, like weird ways that we know it. Like, we know this stuff, right? I mean, vampires look like people, right? They just don't have a reflection, right? They have no sense of self. They can't stand sunlight or exposure. There's the Cylons in the second Battlestar Galactica look just like people, except their spines glow when they come, right? And so they're incredibly camouflaged predators. And because we're blinded by religion and we don't listen to science, we don't see that these people are everywhere. And they absolutely laugh at us. They absolutely laugh at us. I mean, Jesus Christ, do you think the people in charge of the financial systems and the political systems and the Federal Reserve, the central banks, I mean, do you think the people I don't know how they keep a straight face. I don't know how they keep a straight face when they look at our pathetic, bleating, begging, confused, TV-addled, pasty, bullshit faces looking up at them saying, God bless America. I'm a proud Ukrainian. Russian blood runs through my veins. And they see us standing and saluting, and then they say, put on this fucking costume and go shoot those people. And we're like, oh, me, I'll do it. Oh, do you have shiny bits of metal you can ship back in a box with my body to my children? Yay! That's what I want. I want to be transmogrified into a bit of metal and a memory. Oh, and if you could ship them a fucking flag too, that sure beats me as having me as a dad for the next 25 or 30 years. Great! I'm in! I love being a slave. Give me some fucking chains to kiss. I couldn't be happier. That's how we live. I mean, it's so sad. They see us fighting over these bits of toilet paper they're passing off as money, and we call it money. We don't call it counterfeiting. We call it central banking. They give us all the words to use to cover up our crimes, and then if one of us happens to turn to the other one and say, you know, this is just counterfeiting. That's not war. It's murder. Ooh, traitor, conspiracy theorist, liar, miscreant. Right? I mean, We fucking deserve to be ruled. We are so spineless. I'm not sure I'd even want us to be free in our current state. We've got to grow at least one tiny gnat-sized group of testicles first. I don't know how they keep a straight face, and I don't know how they don't throw up their lunches at the bullshit we swallow. But just listen to any political speech. Just read. Forget just pick up one of Obama's speeches or John Edwards' speeches, or doesn't care, Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter. Pick up their speeches and read it. And that's what we're ruled by. The vaporware of political bullshit. That's all we're ruled by. I mean, we're a zoo. We don't even have any fucking bars. It's just slave-on-slave violence. One guy turns to the other and says, I think we're slaves. Oh, fuck! Let's shit on that guy. Ooh, he's a cult leader. Ooh, he's a bad guy. Ooh, he said something true. Let's fuck him up. The masters don't even have to lift a finger. We all just turn on each other. I mean, we haven't even earned the respect of the masters to put cages around us yet. Right? I mean, does anyone ever say, oh, yeah, fuck, my kid's turned 5. I got to hand him over to the indoctrination camps. I got to hand him over to the government schools, Jesus. It's not with a sense of regret that people send their kids to government schools. It's with a sense of relief and patriotic duty and binding us all together in the oneness of democratic brain tapioca turpitude. Nobody ever says, well, they fucked me over with property taxes. I got no money for private school. I got to work. I got to send them. No. People say to me, where's your daughter going to school? I say, school? Are you fucking kidding me? Do you even remember school? I mean, why would I put my kid in prison when she hasn't even done anything wrong? Not that I would if she did. But I say that to people. I said, did you like school? And they said, fuck no. Well, why would I send her? I hated school too. Why the hell would I send her someplace that I hated? And why would you say, where's she going to school? Like it's just another topic of conversation. Which particular government hellhole are you going to force her into? Anyway, so we don't deserve freedom yet. We don't have a shred of self-respect. I mean, we send our kids off to die for flags and bullshit and trumpets. And do you know what they do at military funerals? They fire guns. They fire guns. That's like burying someone who died of cancer by injecting other people with cancer. Spreading the violence that brought them down. They shoot guns at military funerals and they hand a flag to the son of the dead man. A flag. That's what the dead man died for. You dye flags their red color and people die for flags bleeding red colors. And people say, well, when are we going to be free? I mean, we're so far from that. We can't even get people to stop kissing the hand that's punching them, begging it to punch them some more, and holding up their children so the punching hand has something softer to hit so it doesn't get any knuckle scrapes. We are so far from getting angry at being ruled. My hope is to get people from 150% loving being ruled to 140%. That would be like nirvana to me. For people to be slightly less bloody-handed, applauding the bloody-handed rulers. That's all I want. For the slow clap of the pompadoured, pontificating sociopaths that rule us, for us to just give them a slightly slow clap. That would be, fantastic for me. But I am not holding my breath. You can't even decelerate this shit. You can't even decelerate it. And so, no, you can't cure sociopathy. You can't end it. And in fact, the desire to do so, the desire to make bad people better, is one of the things that gives bad people so much power, right? I mean, if you think you can reform the bacteria that's eating you, then you don't take medicine because you think you can talk it out of eating your skin, right? Or your flesh. No, I'll reason with it. I'll tell it about Jesus. I'll tell it about UPB. I'll reason with the virus, so I don't need to take any medicine. No, it's amputation. The only way that you solve sociopathy is amputation. You have nothing to do with those people. You have nothing to do with those people, and I use the term peaceful rather loosely, right? But no, this can't occur. We don't. You know, in a zoo, you keep the antelopes separate from the tigers. Of course you do. You don't lock the tigers up, but hungry tigers up with the antelope and say to the antelope, reason with them, will you? No, you don't do any of that. You amputate, you isolate, right? It's like that scene in World War Z. The woman gets the zombie disease in her hand. Brad Pitt cuts her fucking hand off. He didn't say, reason with the zombie virus. Cut it off. This is why I say to people, hey, if you've got monsters in your life, maybe you don't have to have monsters in your life. And some people, some very brave people, have decided to not have monsters in their life. Good. That helps to slow down the spread of the disease of evil. Keep them away from your children. I just did this in a call this last week. Ex-military man. Keep these people away from your children, and your children can grow up free of viruses. There's a plague zone near here, and they had 2 instances of measles recently. That's bad. Measles is bad, right? They shut the place down. People are like, oh my God, I'm never going back. 2 instances of measles. But be sure to finish your homework about how good the government is, how necessary the military and the police are, so I can put you back in government school, and then we're going to take you to church. But I'm really worried about measles harming my children. Brain viruses, we don't just expose our children to do, we shove them up their goddamn noses. Brain viruses, children can't get away from. We fucking strap them down and inject them in their eyeballs. And then there's 2 cases of measles, and everybody goes crazy. So no, white guilt is not going to end anytime soon. Because there is going to be a battle between the empathetic and the sociopathic. Sociopaths are parasites, dominatory parasites. All predators are parasites, right? I mean, the gazelle can live without the lion. The lion can't live without the gazelle. Now I understand if there are no lions, there'll be too many gazelles and blah, 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 blah. But they'll reach population stability and so on, right? And the analogy is somewhat limited with people. But we all can live without sociopaths. Sociopaths can't live, right? They don't want to fucking work, right? You think Janet Yellen wants to work? No. She'd rather have power over people. So, yeah, there's going to be a fight, but people, this kumbaya, we are all one bullshit, people aren't even close to having even a remote animal sense of good versus evil. I was playing with my daughter with some baby kittens. And, it took a while for warm the kittens up to us, right? Because they were cautious of us. These big, giant fuckers are coming into my bedroom, right? And after a while, we fed them, we cooed them, we chatted with them, and then they were climbing all over us, and we played with them. It was great. And, kittens a couple of weeks old have the common sense to shy away from potential danger. But we flock to kiss and embrace and worship it. We sing songs to evildoers. We have battle hymns called national anthems. What was I taught as a kid? Rule Britannia, Britannia rules the waves, right? We sang this shit. This is what we were trained to do. This is how our basic kitten sense of imminent danger was scrubbed from us and replaced with this Winston Smith's live Stockholm Syndrome worship of evildoers. You can't get people to stop hitting their children, but you say that their BPA in baby bottles might be a problem and everyone goes insane. Let's ban BPA. It might be dangerous to 1 in a million children. Spanking does this. Hey, fuck you. Right. Because everybody loves the play acting of concern over actually doing some shit that helps people. Right? So no, white guilt is too profitable a resource. And I don't feel guilty at all. First of all, I haven't oppressed anyone. Give me a break. Like 2% of people in America own slaves. They're all the rich bastards who are in good with the state, who got the state to pay for their slave owning. What the hell do I have to do with that? Nothing to do with me. I don't take pride in the collective achievements of Europeans, which means that I can look at those achievements objectively. Now, pretend to be a space alien. If you could take one culture out of the world and all of the gifts that culture had generated for the world, would it be the Europeans? Would it be the Africans? Would it be the Aboriginals in Australia? Would it be the Orientals? Or would it be the Europeans? Right? So, no, objectively, it's just a fact. And I don't know, I guess if people want to feel guilty about it, then they can. Anyone can do whatever the hell they want. But, making people guilty to cough up money wasn't invented by the Catholics alone, right? It's a staple of human livestock farming. Make people feel guilty and they'll cough up money. You didn't build that. We built the roads that you used to get to work to build the company that made the money. So give us our fucking money back. It's like, wait a minute, don't I pay for that? Didn't I pay for that already? Wasn't these roads built a long time ago and have been badly maintained? Weren't they in fact not even paid for but just added to the national debt? Shut up! Give us money! Feel guilty! Complete bullshit. You're rich, but you're just lucky, man. You didn't work hard. You're just lucky. Those poor, hardworking people. That woman who had 3 children by 3 different guys, she was just unlucky. It was slippery out there, and there were men lying on their backs, having dreams about Kim Kardashian. She slipped, fell on some cocks, dropped some babies. You're lucky. She was unlucky. Give her money. She's not responsible for her choices, so give her money. Oh, you are responsible for your choices, which is I am taking the money from you. Guilt is a great lever for getting money out of people. Get people to feel guilty, and they'll pay you to make the guilt go away.
I was raised Catholic.
I'm sorry?
I was raised Catholic, so I know what you mean.
You know the story, right? Adam and Eve ate a magical apple. And fuck it, give me money. Right? I mean, like, I am going to put a curse on you, and I've got a funny hat. So give me your fucking money. I mean, this is voodoo. And swear to God, like 90% of the money transfers in the world are as a result of emotionally manipulative voodoo. I mean, it's mad. It's completely mad. And it's so obvious. I mean, you don't need a philosopher to tell you this shit, right? Jesus said, sell everything you own, give your money to the poor, and follow me. Except for you, the guy in Rome, you get carried around by 19 guys on a fucking golden chair.